Hello and welcome back to Schellhammer TV. Today we are going to be discussing our fourth and final topic relating to Dr. Schellhammer's global threats. Now we have a little treat for you today, as this topic's a little bit more unusual, but it really will provide a practical insight into some of the issues we are facing today and maybe how to move forward with them. Now Dr. Schellhammer, our topic today is a holy grail reset for humanity. You say a global reset. This is an outstanding global breed of mentally healthy leaders we need. If you like, a new codex for all humanity. What do you mean by this and why is it necessary?
Yeah, first of all, we need to start with the reality. We have everyday reality and obviously with the history in the past. There are some facts that governance is quite cynical towards the people, that people on the other side are greedy, let's say. The world of humans are chaotic in general. So from the 2 million people thousands of years ago, we have today 8 billion people nearly. That means there's a lot of chaos around the globe. It is a lot of conflict on a political level, including risk of war, for example, including risks of resources. And there is a need to prepare the leadership level for the future with 8 billion, probably 9 or 10 billion people. That's one of the core motifs that something needs to change.
And are you focusing on the reset of the political sector, or is it across the board? Is there more than politics and governance that's at play when we talk about a new mentality for leadership?
Yeah, on the one side it's about leadership. Yeah. On the other side it's about the people as well. So if I'm talking about changes on the leadership side, I have a strong impression, even more a lot of facts obviously, that the average level of leadership competences is very low. They are not prepared for 8 billion people. They have a mind for 2, 3, 4 billion people, maybe. So there is a new understanding of governance required, completely new. And that includes on the other side as well to understand humans. How can politicians lead the people, and we are talking about 8 billion people, if they do not understand how people are functioning in their mind, about the concerns and problems people have in their everyday life. So this is from that side. From the other side is governors cannot just give order, we change the world. We change economics, we change this and that and etc. No, it is about the people. So the people have to make the change and not governors. So people need also to be prepared for changes.
Well, I suppose in a way the people give the governance the control, don't they, when, for example, they vote a particular party in place. Are you saying it needs to be between both the leadership and the people, so the people are aware of what they're asking for, but also how to manage it when it's not happening, and then perhaps the leadership will perhaps change their approach or mentality on the given topics?
Yeah, with a strong word on the side of politics, I would say up to 65%, if not 70%, of all people working in governance institutions, they need to be replaced. They have a mind from the past, and this hinders development and changes or any kind of sustainable reset. On the other side, public education up to today do not prepare the new generations for the big problems that we will have the next decades.
But it's never discussed, is it? And I suppose if people don't choose to go into a political avenue with their careers, they're never going to know anything about it because it's never spoken about.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see where the problem is laying at the most basic level and how it lifts up.
Yeah. Above that, I would say that entire humanity, since millenniums of years, they have a wrong understanding of humans. They have not even a basic understand what is a human life and what is it about to be human on this planet. So people, they also must become aware of the need for a new understanding of life. So that is what I call reset. It goes with the people and from the people, and without the people it cannot work.
It sounds exciting, you know, the thought of actually having a new approach to managing a world that is obviously not working well at the moment. The histories of war, etc., as you've spoken in previous videos, show us that. Explain to us, how is this going to happen? Practical methods to initiate a global reset when it comes to managing the world.
Difficult to answer this because there is let's say, a leadership governance elite. They don't want to give up what they have. They are not prepared to understand the other side of the human side, and the people on the other side, do they really want changes? Changes from the side of human life is very difficult to manage. So it starts with education. And this, we are talking about 5 years, 10 years. In the end, we are talking about 20 years for such a reset of a new generation. So I like fairy tales.
Don't we all?
Symbols. So to come to the point of a fact. So if all the governors of the one side and the people on the other side, billions I'm talking about, so if they are lost in the inner center of life, there is chaos total. So there is no reset possible, never, by force and military force, maybe. But this will not help. So there have always been fairy tales in the past about the kings, about rulers, the good ones, the bad ones. Behind these fairy tales or mythological stories is a basic truth, that it is about to find the wholeness of being human. So, and humanity has lost this. It goes back with stories from Holy Grail, the king that hold the people together, the country together. He was a wise man. He was a strong man in the sense of understanding people and realities. And today, around the globe, this is gone and lost. I would say the last one maybe was 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, maybe 5,000 years ago. There were certain symbolic personalities, wise people. They were able to set the core, and the people had to develop the whole thing. But this is gone and is lost, and we must refine this.
Do you think part of the problem could be, though, obviously we have such a scale of human quality of life, awareness, living, 8 billion people, millions of different needs. Do you think it's possible, by understanding what being human really means and understanding the core of humanity, a new global leadership could manage everybody regardless of their economic or physical, mental needs? Is that is it practical, do you think?
Yeah, it needs a figure, a center, a symbolic center, not power, not the power, but the symbolic center. And only with the symbolic center of a country, each country has its own center, if you want, is the source of wisdom, the source of balancing all the problems in the state. This, in the religion, they call it a messenger must come to give the information, the instruction, opens what is the real truth of being human on this planet. We haven't had that since, I'm sure, 1,500 years. So, and we have it today, somehow. So, and that is needed for a reset program.
And you think every country or continent needs their own, so it is manageable around their own cultural needs and awareness? Or is it something that can be overseen by one greater power?
Yeah, I don't like the word power, but it is one. Must be one. And that one can be copied. And the individual realization of a state or of an area, that's a matter, a local matter. So the big aim is globally free nations. As the aim. It requires this center, but each area around the globe, each country, new countries maybe, they are almost learn to become responsible for what they do, what they can do, and to transform the changes. So a messenger doesn't clean the mess. He says what is the mess, and he says what has to clean out, and what is genuine, and what is fabricated.
So, Dr. Schellhammer, what can the people do with your vision for a better world?
Yeah, first of all, it starts with each human, not with masses. Means each human must become aware about inner life, must become responsible about the way they live, they think, the way they communicate, the way they manage the personal environment. So it's like a call from inside that tells us we are responsible for what we do, and we need to train ourselves to doing it right. So that is the start. Yeah. Around the globe, people must learn to understand just that fact.
So in a way, following their moral compass and taking responsibility for the impact of their actions, and to understand that they have the ability to do things in a kind, ethical, moral way that isn't going to be detrimental to anyone else. And if everyone had that attitude, do you think it would be the starting point?
Yes, this will be the starting point. I would mention as essential as well, first, we get in life a lot of good things. People have lost to respect what they get. People have lost to understand that not having work is violence. Yeah. People have to learn that the food they get is not for free. Other people worked for that behind. Yeah. So people are greedy in the sense that they want to possess without having worked and understood what for all this is good. So, and this is education. Global education that must teach all age levels how to become responsible about everything. What they get, what they have. They need to find their genuine identity, not just dancing around the globe somehow. And what is a life if a human doesn't create anything good? So, in other words, everybody can learn just to create something good. Whatever it is, can be very small, but it's something. And I guess this attitude has left the planet.
Yeah, I think unfortunately people look at monetary value for how well they're doing something, and it's not always the case, is it? You know, if we go shopping and we pick up our vegetables, we have to understand that that started from a seed and has been nurtured by many hands, and we should have appreciation from that. So without those, we wouldn't have our food. And I suppose it's the same as anything you do, you have to understand that there's been a process before you're able to do that. So we should respect everyone's position, because it's almost like a puzzle. It all comes together, but it can't if we have missing pieces.
Yeah, and it's indeed about building up from inside, and this gives strength. In the context of today, what we have around the globe, it strengthens the body, the immune system, it strengthens the mind, and without developing the mind, without using the potentials of the mind, obviously, so that's an easy way to manipulate and control entire humanity without the benefit, without the spiritual benefit. I would add to this the other side, as we started with governance, politics as well. They need to learn to understand themselves. Why are they there in the governance field or area? What is their motive to be there? And how do they understand and see the humans? I have the impression that the huge majority of all people in political areas, they have an understanding of humans like 3,000-5,000 years ago. So, and this has no future. And to give order to reorganize the world, this is without spirituality, this is without love, this is without understanding, without respect for nature, etc., etc. So, on both sides is a reset necessary. Yeah, both sides need completely new understanding of life, of their job they have on the one side, and the meaning of life humans have on this planet.
Dr. Schellhammer, what you're telling us here today sounds like an immense challenge. Can you give us some insight into the process and what this means for humanity?
Yeah, it sounds complex, it sounds abstract, but it's real life. It's reset means new learning, new understanding, asking questions, new critical explorations, new answers, new concepts, new strategies. It means new rules, new ways of management, new qualities, a new kind of efficiency, new understanding of efficiency. In that context, it can only work with new education, new learning, especially also for inner life. The world ignored since centuries, since millenniums, to explore and understand what we are from inside, build up with mental functions, build up with meaning and with immense capacities. So the people need to be trained. This world must become essential for human life. That is what I understand with reset. The first phase, the basic. It's about catharsis of humanity. Means the world had so many wars. People, billions, suffered so much during centuries. Then there is a need for forgiveness, collective forgiveness. There is a need for reconciliation globally. It is about making amends. This process is guided by what I said before, the so-called messenger. Yeah. That has a divine source of life. And it's for the people. So this process will take years. And without this, the governors, the entire world, all politics can try whatever they want for a reset. It will never work without what I just said now.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the practical application for a reset of humanity?
So practical, on the one side I explained, it's about complete new approaches about everything. It is about a fundamental change of making peace between governments, between the people, between the world, the religions, and so on. That is fundamental. It starts with talking, sharing, searching together. A messenger does not give order. No. He just tells what they should do or can do, or where they have to look for how to come forward. So, and it takes 10, 12 years, and probably, some needs 20 years, 30 years.
But how can this happen? Are you saying what we need to do is maybe stop focusing on power in terms of army size and money in the bank, and actually understanding the power of being human and working as a collective for something better, rather than the constant competition for need, for drive, for power?
Yeah, to make work changes, I would say the entire humanity should start a kind of retreat, to come back to themselves, to reduce all external activities, and to learn to understand what they are, what for they are, what are the capacities, the potentials, what is love about and care about, and what is the beauty on this planet. There is still, apart from contamination, for example. So, and it starts obviously with the very young generation, and or those who will have babies then in the next future, so that they learn to deal with everything with transparency, with some objective meaning, with comprehensible thinking, so they can share their thoughts. So they need, with their self-identity as a source of life, to understand the global world, and not just from a small view. It includes, obviously, a kind of spirituality. Without the spirituality, it doesn't work. There are spiritual concepts, they do not work. So I'm not talking about this, but it's about meditation, to understand the past, the personal catharsis, to take times for others, for sharing thoughts, explorations, and to become responsible in a way that the politicians can also relax a bit, and not just always to be in opposite to the people. That's, I would say, that's the best possible start and the right foundation. Once we have globally 10 years or so the foundation, nations can grow like trees or flowers in positive words.
The process you're discussing, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this not almost the process of individuation, which is another topic you're very passionate about?
Yeah, there is the balance between the external, the others, and oneself, the person. Yeah, so it is a fundamental personal journey to learn about oneself, to become responsible about oneself, and I call this individuation, to become a wholeness, centered inside, and this takes years, obviously. I would even add that governors in the future need a leadership level of people that reached a high level of individuation. Without this, nothing can work.
And Dr. Schellhammer, obviously this is a massive topic by itself, and if our viewers are interested in what he means by individuation, please drop us a comment and we can have a discussion on that. It's one of my favourite topics. Furthermore, if you're interested in understanding the chaos around politics, you can always pick up Dr. Schellhammer's book, Politics, with the cash sign. It can be found on Amazon, and there's a wealth of information in here as well. Thank you, Dr. Schellhammer.
You're welcome.